guys, and welcome to my reviews of The Beautiful and the Cursed as well as The Lovely and the Lost by Paige Morgan. So this is more of a series review so far, non-spoiler of course. Basically, if you're interested in reading this, then continue watching this video because I would convince you to read it. When I read about this, as you can see, there's like a gargoyle here and another hawk-like looking gargoyle. When I read it, it says there's gargoyles and they protect these people, but at the same time, the book starts off in the 1900s, early 1900s. The girl, something happens in London, she lives in London, so she has to move to Paris with her whole family, and their brother, her twin brother actually, had to go ahead of time to secure basically a place for them. The place was secured and everything by the real estate agent, and then they go, and then they find out that her brother has been missing for a while, and she is called Ingrid Waverley and her brother's Grayson. So he's been missing for a while, and then some things happen and all, and she gets thrust into this world of gargoyles, and like, turns out that she has some supernatural powers that she's not aware of and doesn't understand. There are these demons that are trying to kidnap her and all that stuff. Ingrid Waverley, she's a really cool protagonist. I'm not a big fan of her love interest, who is a gargoyle, and his name is Luke. I'm more interested in someone else who is basically a demon hunter, and they're called the Alliance. Ingrid has a sister called Gabrielle actually. She's my favorite character in this whole book. She's 16, Ingrid's 18. She doesn't act like a typical 20th century ladylike woman. She has like a really sharp tongue, and she says what she thinks. She does whatever she wants. I really like that about her. She's so different from typical ladylike protagonists. Even Ingrid is a bit reserved compared to Gabrielle, and every time everyone's like, hush Gabrielle, how you can't say that, Gabrielle, behave, Gabrielle, and the whole time she's like, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm not going to stay in this little square that society has created for me and I'm not allowed to escape it. I am going to pursue whatever I want. I'm going to fight if I have to fight. I'm going to learn how to fight. Nothing's gonna stop me. She's such a feminist. I feel like she basically embodies what feminism is really about, especially, you know, being in the early 20th century. I really liked her. I liked her romance line so much more than Ingrid. I just really liked her dedication, her love for her sister, but at the same time she doesn't cower and isn't really afraid of being herself and basically defying her sister if she thinks that this is the right thing to do and this is for the best of everyone. Even though she's always been put on the sidelines because Ingrid and Grayson are the twins and they're more in sync together, and you know, they can basically feel each other and all that stuff through this bond that they have. Gabrielle is more like on the sideline because she's like 2 years younger than them and all that. She just truly loves her family, like, to the end, and I just really loved it. I loved the whole gargoyle thing and like the fight with the gargoyles and the demons, and the way it's done in this book, it doesn't really overtake the book. So there's, you know, the whole historical setting, which I found to be lovely, and then there's this whole fantasy of the powers and such that get introduced, which I found was really a nice touch to the whole historical theme. And then there's the whole paranormal part with like the gargoyles and the demons, and I actually recently read a book about, you know, demons and demon slayers, and I thought it was just so cliched and not unique at all, but this one is totally unique, and it reminds me of the books written by Kimberly Durdig and how she combines so many different genres into one and she makes it work. And this is how it is here. There's historical, there's fantasy, there's the whole romance plot that does not overtake anything. So there's a balance between all the different all the different genres, and she makes them work. And I was not bored for a single minute or page in both of these books actually. Usually it's inevitable to feel a little like a lull in the plot and it's just a bit boring in the middle or at the beginning or at the end, but no. Every page of these I was like, flip, 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 flip. It was, I think, it's weird for me to praise a non-contemporary book or like a non-dystopian book or a non-Mara Dyer book this much, but honestly these came at they were such a pleasant surprise, and they're paranormal slash historical slash fantasy, so they're really hard to explain. And then the ending of this was like, it ended as such a big cliffhanger that I had to read another review book in between these, and I was like, damn it, it's 300 pages, let's read quickly. And I finished that book in like 2 days, and then I went and picked up The Lovely and the Lost straight away. It jumped into the action straight up, like kind of did a recap of everything, but I just read it so I kind of remember everything, and then bam, back in action, this, and I loved it. And the ending of this one was also a killer. It's a true killer. I just love this trilogy, and they're not only told from one POV, and it's not really a distinct, like each chapter is a different POV. Like it kind of ends from one person and jumps to the other. So there's Ingrid, and she's like the main character. There's also Gabrielle. She's called Gabby, and there's Gabby, and then there is Grayson, and then there's some other bad dude or dudette that I don't want to talk about. And it's not like a typical paranormal, fantasy, historical books. Definitely recommend it to everyone. Like, I normally wouldn't pick this series up. I would not. I only picked it up because I saw both books were up for grabs from Random House, and I'm like, yeah, I can give them a try. But if I were out and I was thinking of what I would buy, there would not really have crossed my mind at all, and I hate that. I hate that I would have passed up on such a fantastic trilogy just because I constrict myself to my contemporaries, and maybe now I branch out to like fantasy and dystopian, but paranormal is not something that I would venture into anymore. So I hate that would have prevented me from starting this amazing trilogy, and I can't really give it enough praise. I can't even point out any problems that I had with this trilogy, to be honest. This is actually quite rare. I'm trying to think of something that I might not have liked. I guess the only thing that I did not like is how horrible the cliffhanger is, and that I would have to wait a full year for the third book, which is actually called The Wondrous and the Wicked. But these covers are also really pretty, and I love this trilogy. Don't know what to say. I think I've said that like 20 times, so take a hint, people, go buy this. And this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this raving video and convinced you guys to check it out. And that's it. Bye.